G'day divers and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing my long-term review of the Elliott Power Sea Lion L12 and L15 underwater video lights. So if you haven't seen my initial reviews of the Sea Lion L12 or the Sea Lion L15, I'll leave the link in the description. Please go watch them first because I'm not going to go over everything in this video. It's just going to be a long-term review of how I've found these lights and how they've worked over the last 6 months, I suppose I've had them. So I think now I have a very good handle on whether I like these lights and the positives about them because I've done almost 100 dives with these lights. I have done everything from advanced wreck penetration in New Zealand to advanced cave diving in South Australia to macro diving in Indonesia, wide angle. I've used it on probably at least 5 different camera setups, and I can say I still highly recommend these lights. I think the L series of the Sea Lions is probably the best value for money in that economical range of lights. I definitely think that if you're looking at those lower end lights, these are really good. In fact, I'd take these lights over a lot of mid-range lights, to be honest. I've had no problem with them whatsoever, and there's been some standout features. So when I say economical, the L12 I believe right now is about 110 US dollars, which is very economical for a light. They even make a smaller version. So this is the standard generic light that you get off Amazon or eBay, and you get these for about 50 or 60 US dollars. Now, the reason I went to Elliott Power was because I wanted something that was more reliable than just these generic lights you get off Amazon. I was finding out about 80% of these would work, 20% would fail. I would have trouble long term of them lasting, buttons rusting out, and you were never going back to the same manufacturer, or you'd have trouble getting 2 lights matching. Now, Elliott Power do make a model like this. They call it the B15, and it is only 80 US dollars anyway. So at best, it's probably at most 20 US dollars more than buying from some generic site that you have no idea where it's coming from. And for that, you're getting the batteries, and more importantly, you're getting these beautiful cases. That alone, to me, is worth the difference, let alone getting a better quality built light. Because as you'll see, unlike this one that's rusted and cross-threaded and all sorts of things, I've done 100 dives with these. They don't have a mark on them. There is no rusting. There is no issues whatsoever. They are still like they are brand new. Now, I would still recommend you jump up from the $80 light to the L12, which is, like I said, 110. I think it's normally 130 when it's not on special, or the L15, which is about $20 more. You'll see it's a very similar light pattern, but there's quite a size difference between the 2 lights. And the other thing not to get sucked into, these smaller lights, you'll see them advertised from everything ridiculous, like 15,000 lumens. The other day I saw somebody trying to claim they're 50,000 lumens. They are not. Elliott Power light, because they have been honest about the power, this light's about 8,000 lumens. So don't get sucked in by China. There's no way that you can get a light with 50,000 lumens like this. That is just somebody just trying to make their ad sound more impressive. So it doesn't exist, so don't worry about it. They are about 8,000 lumens, all of them. If you go up to this size, it's going to be about 10,000 lumens. That little bit of power is worth it. Then the other thing is all the extra features. So like I said, the B15 that Elliott Power make is 80 US dollars. The L15, which is that step up, is currently about 130 US dollars. But for that $50, you get a larger light, 2,000 lumens more, and it has some really nice features. I actually much prefer the batteries in the L series. The reason being is it comes with this built-in battery pack. It takes 3 21700 batteries instead of 4 18650s, and it's actually in the charging pack. So you can buy extra ones. That is just the little container that it comes in. That is a charger, and it holds the batteries. They are $10 to get another one, I would grab spare one of them, because the beautiful thing is, instead of trying to stick individual batteries in and then try and put the lid on against the springs, you put your 3 batteries into your holder, and you can just slide it straight into the light. Then you've got 0 pressure when you're doing up the light. It stops any issues with cross-threading, any issues with messing up the O-ring. It is just so much easier and nicer. I would upgrade to these lights every day of the week just for this. Then you get back, that slides out. It is a USB-C plug, and it's a charger. So it has a nice big light on the top. When you plug it in, it'll be red if the batteries are low, and it'll finally go green, bright green, to tell you that they are fully charged. It charges really quickly. When I was in New Zealand, I was doing 90-minute dives, tech dives. The batteries were lasting without a problem, and I put them on charge, and they would be charged in about 2 to 2.5 hours. So the charger works really well. And then I was just running 2 sets. In fact, I didn't actually need to run 2 sets because we had 3 hours between dives anyway, because we were doing deco dives. But I was literally running 2 sets. I'd come back, drop that out, shove the USB plug straight into it. They start charging, grab the charged ones, drop them in, and away I go. I really, really, really like this system. I love interchangeable batteries anyway, because I don't want to have to worry about keeping lights charged or anything like that. And if I have a problem with one cell, I throw it away. There is nothing I like more than interchangeable batteries, and this is a very economical way. I don't have to go back and buy a specific battery pack or anything. I just order 21700 batteries online. So when you buy it, you will get the 3 21700 batteries. Elliott Power don't sell additional batteries. A lot of manufacturers don't. There is issues around sending batteries. For instance, GoPro will send you batteries with your GoPro, but you can't buy an individual battery through the mail from GoPro internationally because of the issues with posting lithium batteries. It's the same thing for Elliott Power. So I will put the name of the aftermarket batteries that I ordered. I'm not going to put a link because I got these, I've had a couple of different suppliers and I haven't had a problem with them, but again, I'm buying them from Alibaba or Amazon or eBay, and I don't know any of these people, and I don't necessarily have any reason to trust any one of the hundreds of different online, stores that come and go that sell these lights. So these batteries, I should say. So I will put the name and the description of the battery in the description of the video. And if you do a search for that and then just find where you can get it cheap and you trust that source. If you're in Australia, you're going to find that most of those sources on Alibaba and stuff, it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks to get a spare set. So just take that into consideration. You can buy them in Australia, but if you buy a brand name 21700 lithiums, they will be considerably more expensive. You could easily buy all 3, if not 6, from an online Chinese supplier for less than you can buy 1 in Australia. So unless you desperately need 3 more, I would just buy them off Alibaba. Now, the other nice thing about using 3 21700s is they last really well. Like, don't get me wrong, 4 18650s will last a dive, not a problem. 2 dives is pushing it. I've found I can easily do 2 dives with these. I haven't pushed them any further than that because the thing I love about replaceable batteries is I just replace them after a dive. But I can literally dive around with these on full power. They will last a full dive. And when I say a full dive, my average dive time this year is 70 minutes still. I don't believe anything under 60 minutes is a dive. So if you're running a dive shop that says 45 minutes is a dive, please don't. That is not a dive. 60 minutes is the minimum I will do if I'm paying good money. And if I'm living here, I normally dive, I dive side mount, and I often dive for 90 minutes to 2 hours, and there is no drama. These will not go flat in that time. Very quick to charge. So that's another reason I like this model is if I have 3 of these 21700s, I can comfortably do 2 dives, which means when I went to Indo, I had 2 sets. So I have enough to do 4 dives without a problem. In fact, they'll be charged again before, and I'll be able to do more dives than that anyway. But I can get away with 2 sets, which means 6 batteries per light, that's 12 batteries. If I'm using 18650s in the smaller models, I find that I really need a set per dive. So if I'm looking at doing 4 dives, I'm now looking at 4 sets of 4. That's 16 batteries per light. That's 32 batteries. It's a lot easier to travel with 12 of these than it is to travel with 32 18650s. That's another reason why I really like these. But that battery pack is worth the upgrade alone, apart from also the increase of power by 25%. The other thing that's really nice about the L series is they've just added a few things. I really did still like the on-off mark. I used that a lot. And I also like that they label the buttons so I know which one is white and which one is colored. Just small things, but really like it. And the thing is, again, after 100 dives, all the marking, all the labeling, it is still perfect. It hasn't faded, it hasn't chipped. The thread, as you can see, is still beautiful and black and anodized. It hasn't been worn off. There is no marks, no wear or tear, no rusting. The quality of that is considerably more. If you look at this no-name brand one, you can see the thread. It's all gone silver because it's getting cross-threaded half the time. You can see the marks where the batteries go around. The anodizing is coming off. There's rust in the springs, in the buttons. So sure, this light cost me $50, I think, without batteries, by the way. And an L15 is going to cost you, what did I say, 130, I think it is. But there is a massive, massive difference in quality. The other thing that is worth every cent, and all their lights come in it, are these the holder, the bag that they come in. It is really, really nice. I've used these continuously. They're purpose-built to the light. The light fits in there. It's not just a generic container. It's built full of light. Strap holds it in. You can put your batteries and extra bits and pieces. Again, I have used these to travel everywhere, to New Zealand, Indonesia. They've been on ferries, planes, taxis. It is really nice to have this hard case that your light's in, that it's not going to get damaged. That alone is probably worth $20 or $30 easily. And the other thing is it really helped with going through airports, because my light is now in a professional bag rather than just random batteries and lights and cables everywhere. Customs ignore me a lot less. They could see on the screen that it was a light and the batteries were laid out all perfectly in a bag, and I got through easier than I normally get through, where they want to open it up and have a look at it when I've got things scattered everywhere. Great protection, comes standard with the light. Love that. So really, after that, everybody asked me which one would I buy, the L12 or the L15. So they both have a CRI of 90, which is really nice. The L12 is 8,000 lumens and the L15 is 10,000 lumens. The difference really is the L12, because it's the cob light, is a little bit warmer, and the L15 is a little bit cooler. So to be honest, it really doesn't matter which one you buy. You won't notice them unless you put them side by side. And you would notice that you're getting a little bit more of a warmer look with the L12, which is what I prefer if I'm diving in the ocean and I'm under, say, 10 meters and I'm using an action camera. Reason being is I've got no ability to manually white balance. So the extra bit of warmth to it, I do notice it. If I'm using a mobile phone or I'm up shallow, then it really doesn't make any difference whatsoever, because I can adjust any white balance differences anyway, and I'll probably use red filters. I don't use red filters on action cameras because of the low light issues, but other cameras I will. So having that little bit of extra red for an action camera, I do like. However, the L15 is 10,000 lumens. That's, I mean, it's 25% more power, and it punches, because it's a cooler light, it punches through even more as well. So if I'm tech diving, if I'm cave diving, wreck diving, or I'm doing shallow tropical water, so I'm talking above, 6 or 7 meters in clear blue water, then I prefer this because it's just a bit more powerful. So it really depends on whether you want to look at the power or you want to look at a little bit of warmth. And really that's personal choice anyway. Some people prefer a cooler look, some people prefer a warmer look. You're not going to go wrong with either light. Like I said, this one's about 110 US, normally 130 at the moment, and this one's 20 US dollars more, but it's 25% more powerful. You can't go wrong with either of them. Look, I really change my mind all the time. If I had to buy one light, really the reason I'd buy the L15 is because I tech dive and I cave dive, and I do a lot of diving with other cameras other than action cameras, so I like the extra power. If all I had was a GoPro and that's all I was going to do, or an Ace Pro or a DJI or any action camera, if I was just looking at an action camera and I was just diving in the ocean in normal recreational depths, I'd probably lean to the L12 just to give it that little bit more warmth. That's it, but you're going to be happy with either one. So full transparency, I am not sponsored by Elliott Power. I haven't been paid by Elliott Power. These L12s were mine. I bought them. If you've seen the review video, you'll know that I bought them looking for a budget light that was better quality, and these fit the bill. After I did that video, Elliott Power sent me the L15s for free, but that is it. Apart from that, this is all my own opinion. They're not paying me in any way, shape, or form. What I have done is I approached them and said, is there any chance, since I'm going to be doing these videos, you could offer a discount code for the viewers, which they have. So if you use the code SeanDiver02 at checkout on their website, and I'll put a link in the description, you can get 10% off all their products, not just these lights, any products they sell. They also sell dual-handled trays, float arms, different models of lights, starting from small handheld lights right through to higher-end video lights. So check that if you're interested. I highly recommend the L12 and the L15, and I'll be trying some of their products, other products in the future, and I'll let you know how they go as well. But where you can see these lights, not a mark on them, still working perfectly, doing exactly as they are listed and described on their website, and you can't ask for more than that, especially at these ridiculously low prices. So until the next time, keep blowing bubbles, and don't forget, the deeper you go, the further you get away from all those idiots.